Joseph Smith was born into a large family on December 23, 1805 in Sharon, Vermont. When he was very young, his family moved to Palmyra, New York, where he grew up. The Smith family lived on a farm, which helped mold Joseph into the strong man that he was. However, this meant that he wasn't able to get a good education and grew up with very limited skills in reading and writing. The Bible was a large part of Joseph's family life. His parents were both religious, as were all of his siblings, although some of them aligned with different churches. Like it was for virtually everyone else in his day, religion was a very important part of Joseph's early life. As part of the culture in which Joseph grew up, it was not uncommon for people to use stones, which were called seer stones, to look for lost objects or buried treasure. Some other people used what were called divining rods to find water underground for their families. The objects, stones, and rods that people used for these purposes were usually ones that they found on their own and which they believed could be used for this special purpose. Joseph himself had a stone of this kind which he found as a teenager. He was digging a well on Chase Farm when he found the seer stone, and he kept it throughout the rest of his life. Although at first he only used it to look for buried treasure, it would later become useful in translating the Book of Mormon. As Joseph got older, he became very worried about his eternal salvation. There were many conflicting opinions in his day about what was necessary for salvation, and Joseph often didn't know who to believe. He once said that his mind became somewhat partial to the Methodist sect, but the confusion was too great for him to actually join them. Besides just the religious confusion, Joseph was also looking for remission of his sins, and he wasn't quite sure how he could receive it. In his 1832 journal, Joseph described his thoughts this way: "I looked upon the sun and the moon rolling in their majesty through the heavens, and the earth upon which I stood, and the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven. When I considered upon these things, my heart exclaimed, Well has the wise man said, It is a fool that saith in his heart, There is no God. I cried unto the Lord for mercy, and a pillar of light came down from above, and rested upon me, and I was filled with the Spirit of God. The Lord told Joseph that his sins were forgiven, and that he should join none of the churches, because they had all gone astray from the true gospel teachings." When Joseph told people about his experience, some of them received it well and believed Joseph. Others, however, made fun of Joseph and persecuted him, saying that there were no such things as visions and that Joseph must be crazy. During the years following the first vision, the persecution against Joseph grew. He described those years as being very difficult, since he had almost no support from anyone and he was left to all kinds of temptations, which led him into many foolish errors. Because of this, one night he was praying for remission of his sins, and an angel named Moroni appeared to him. Moroni told Joseph that God had a work for him to do. He said there were golden plates hidden somewhere which contained a record of the ancient Americans and which had the fullness of the gospel. Joseph wasn't able to obtain the book for a few more years because at first he wanted it for money. Over the course of 4 years, however, Joseph learned of the importance of what he was doing and finally overcame that temptation. He was then able to get the plates for translation. Also hidden with the plates was something called the Urim and Thummim, which was an instrument like a seer stone through which God could reveal the translated text. Due to a lot of artwork that has been done on the translation, many people think that Joseph translated the Book of Mormon by reading the ancient symbols and somehow receiving inspiration about what they meant. However, this is not true. The way Joseph actually translated the plates was by placing his seer stone in a hat to block out extra light, and the words would appear on the stone. Joseph never actually looked at the symbols on the plates while translating. Because of what started with Joseph's vision and the translation of the Book of Mormon, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has grown to become an international faith which blesses its members all around the world.